That's
nice form, huh?
well, I think that was a little bit necessary. So needed a little bit of fuel. It's only a little bit on the ground. Yeah, yesterday Sean did a bunch of buttoning up stuff on the Evo wagon. Got the radiator fan installed on it. What else did you do? Radiator fan,
coil cover, radiator fan, the heat sensor deal for the fan.
and then basically we were just getting ready to take it for a drive and backed it out of the shop and it died because the fuel light was on. And the Evo is like, it seems like if they get like a little bit, like at 1/8 of a tank, they pretty much run out of fuel and they don't like that. What we're gonna go ahead and do now is take this thing for an actual rip, which I'm excited about with the new turbo during the day while Sean is here. Actually, we only got a couple minutes.
Oh, what time is it?
Yep. Alright, is this safe for a rip? Ready? Yeah. We can go wide open throttle now too.
This thing rips.
21 pounds of boost. Yeah, it's like 125.
That wastegate sounds so dope.
Maybe like 18 pounds or so.
Yeah, when that wastegate opens up, that sounds so dope.
And it looks like it's about full boost by about 5,000. So like if so this is third gear, we'll go 3,000 RPMs and we'll just roll into it there and see when. So we're already in boost.
Buddy, this thing is a totally different animal. Holy
That's on
shit.
like, that's technically probably like the low boost setting.
Low boost setting, yeah.
Because that'll be, it'll probably be about double that. If it's about 18 pounds right now, we're gonna double that.
Because the motor will hold it all day
Because it'll
long.
be about 36 pounds.
Yeah,
So.
and this thing is just moving. Compared to that stock turbo, this is wicked.
So this is that intake that we got all figured out yesterday. So it's a 4-inch coupler, basically 4-inch 45 degree to like a 45 degree aluminum tube going over this way to a 4-inch filter, which is pretty good size, as well as that is that spout fan right there with the factory. It's like a pulse width modulated controller, so like it doesn't go like super fast right away. So like if you're just cruising, it'll just kind of slowly spin, and then as soon as it gets hot, I think it turns on full blast. So Sean, what do you think?
It rips. Completely different than stock.
That stock turbo hit super hard, but then it just
fell off. Yeah.
fell off.
This
So
doesn't
like
fall off. This just keeps pulling and pulling.
and that's what we need. So now I think we're looking at the T51R mod. And it should be
Yeah, I see it.
yep, right down there. Pull out that little black block off thing. Basically what that is a speed sensor for the turbo. There's going to be a little port that goes to the very tip of the compressor blades, and what it'll actually do is just make it sound like a jet all the time. So get a little bit more spoolie noise than typical than it is right now, which it sounds good how it is, but I just like doing that because it's like the T51R mod, and it just makes them sound like a jet. That's what the Super's like, and it just sounds crazy. So now we already have this thing removed out of the turbo. Had to throw it up on the lift to get to it, but this is a Garrett G42 that I actually had eat a vacuum line on my Civic because we didn't have a filter on it, and it was hitting like 40 pounds of boost, and it launched the vacuum line off straight in here, and it chewed on that for a little while. Then I ended up making a smoothie with this one. If you guys didn't see that video, that was a while back, but yeah, this is just an example of where it goes. And if you were to look down in there, that just basically goes to the tips of the blades kind of at the end right there. Just kind of give you accurate reading on your turbo speed. And the reason a lot of people do turbo speed is because that's when a lot of turbos blow up, is actually the turbine speed. So like, let's say if you have a boost leak or something on the car and it's still trying to make 40 pounds of boost, and the turbo's overspinning, it's supposed to be 150,000 RPM, and now it's 250,000 RPM to make 40 pounds of boost because it has a leak, then that's when your turbo will technically blow up, especially these newer turbos. You know, on the old cast wheel turbos and stainless or steel wheel turbos, you could kind of go forever, but now with the new G series and these new turbos, they have such a lightweight material that all of these components are made out of now, a little bit more fragile when it comes to over speeding them, and that is where a lot of people will see issues if they are, pushing a turbo too far. Or it also shows in a data log, like if your turbo's, used to only seeing 100,000 RPM and now you see 150,000 RPM, you might see a boost leak. So that's something also that you could add to like your logging parameters or something like that too. I've thought about doing that on the Civic. Honestly, that probably would be a good thing. It would be kind of interesting to see, because when we added the cams, it was technically on the same, it was on a lower boost level. It was on 30 pounds instead of 38, but it technically ran faster at the track. So I'm curious if the turbo was spinning just as fast, the engine was just more efficient because it had cams now. So that's another way to kind of compare data and stuff. So pull this thing off the lift, take it for a little drive, and see how she sounds now with the new spool sounds. Hi guys, so me and Charles are actually getting ready to head to Florida for the LZ Invitational, which is basically a top 16 drift event that my friend Adam LZ that is putting on at Orlando Speed World, which is down in Florida, which happens to be exactly where I left my C6 Z06 Corvette that me and Charles drove down to Florida last December and basically left it in Florida. So it's been at the compound for like 6 or 8 months or something like that. And Colette actually tried driving it at a clutch kickers event, and then as soon as she pulled it off the trailer, the clutch slave cylinder started leaking. So basically as soon as we get down there, we need to fix the slave cylinder. It was nothing that she did wrong. It was just basically pulled it out of the trailer and it started leaking and the clutch wasn't working. I'm stoked to be reunited with my Corvette, and that is what I'm going to be driving in the LZ Invitational. So pretty stoked about that. If you haven't seen his video about it, he does have like an 8-inch jump, which honestly I don't think I'm gonna hit that thing in the Corvette, just because it is low, and it is a really nice car that we are planning on driving home from Florida if the weather is good, like 28 hours basically from Florida to Colorado. So things have been a little bit of a mess on the channel lately. I know a lot of the videos are up and down and here and there, and we're working on a 350Z and a Ranger and an Evo and all this type of stuff. I see you, I hear you, I know that. We are planning on moving shops, and till this day I still don't know exactly how it's gonna work, if we're gonna move to this other shop, if we're gonna move home, if we're gonna stay here. There's a lot of options like that. So a lot of things that need figured out basically. Basically, we're still planning on doing the sale on January 15th, where basically anybody is invited to come to the shop, and we're gonna have like a yard sale, flea market type of thing, and basically just sell a bunch of stuff, try to clear out a bunch of space, because we are planning on either revamping this space, which I'd rather not, or move into a much smaller space and be more specific and deliberate on what we are doing. So we're supposed to get my shop spray foamed this last week at my house, and then we're gonna move merch over there and then store cars, but maybe we're gonna do all the work there. I don't know. It's kind of a mess, but we're trying to get out of that. So one of the other issues is, I'm sure you guys have seen with the channel in the last 6 months or so. Sean Buddy's here. All right, so Sean decided to join me over here. So anyhow, yeah, things have been a little bit of a mess around the shop lately, and I'm blaming Sean.
That's what happens when you're the shop foreman.
shop
Everything
foreman.
falls into your shoulders.
He got promoted. What was it? I think it's almost been a year.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's almost been a year that Sean has been the shop foreman. I gave him a plaque and everything. We had a little ceremony here. And
Little cake, candles,
and
balloons.
so yeah, everything that happens here is now his fault. No, but I don't know. I think what has happened recently with the channel and the cars and the projects is planning. You know, there's a lack of planning and a lack of like future planning. Like the Ranger is a perfect example. Amazing idea. I have great ideas.
Sometimes.
Like I love my ideas. Every single one of my ideas is pretty good. The issue is the planning that goes around those, and then looking at the whole situation and saying, do we have time?
Well, usually you come up with a great idea, but then it's like this great idea that you want to execute right when you have the idea. It's not like an idea, then we plan, and then we go forward with that in mind.
That's exactly what happened with the Ranger things. I literally went to bed on Sunday night thinking about, hey, we should do this. Sean has a Ranger, I have a Ranger, and we started doing it.
Monday.
We talked about it for like an hour, and then we like cleaned the shop up, pulled the Rangers in, started filming a video, and then had a video uploaded on Tuesday of like, we're doing this frickin' Ranger thing. So it was a great idea, poor execution. Not that it's my excuse, but like, I think I'm just overwhelmed with like the amount of things that I could and should be doing at any point in time, that what ends up happening is the planning loses sight, like it doesn't get priority. So then all of a sudden I have all this stuff and I'm like, oh, we need to make videos and we got to do this, and like I need something for Sean to do this week, and I need something to do this week, and we don't have parts for this, we don't have parts for that, but guess what, we have these two Rangers, we could pull those in and start stripping them. That's what happens. Is I think I'm just so overwhelmed. If you guys didn't know Ty, everybody's been asking about Ty and where he went. So he actually left right after the super giveaway. That was about 6 months ago,
yeah.
I think. I don't know, he essentially wanted to do his own thing. Like we started the giveaway side of Motion Auto in 2017 basically together, and he was essentially getting like a percentage of like the profits and stuff. What ended up happening though is as we grew and scaled, the jobs changed, and we didn't have those hard conversations of like, all right, now this is what you're going to be doing and this is what I'm going to be doing. We didn't have that, and I think that there was too much time that went without having those like hard conversations of like, hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? He comes to the shop, he looks at me like, what are you doing? I go to the other shop, look at him like, what are you doing? And I think there was a lack of effort and appreciation on both parts, and in turn, I think that led to a lack of like effort and, you know, trying to push the business forward, I think on both parts, because it was like Ty's got that, and then at the same time he's like, well, I'm over here doing this all by myself, what are you doing? And you know, it was
a weird situation.
It was a weird situation. And so I think it was one of those things where he thought that this was holding him back in some aspects, and I think that in some aspects like he was holding himself back because of the lack of the conversations that we should have had. And then it led to this point where we were both like kind of looked at each other like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know, like, let's go, like, now's the time to go, but like, are you even ready to go? Like, should we even do that? And so we basically had the conversation, and that was pretty much it. So then like all of Ty's responsibilities as far as like the giveaways and the merch and the designs and the website and the rules and like the ordering products and the fulfillment and all this other stuff that was like a huge part of the business was, now it was like, okay, oh, here it is over at Ty. Okay, now it's mine. Obviously, like I did all that stuff when it was in my basement, but it was at a different scale.
Yeah, a lot smaller.
When we were, you know, there was merchandise there was lost merchandise, like the inventory was wrong, like there was things that was just everywhere. So like then when I come down to the shop, instead of me ordering parts and figuring out what we need to do down here, now I'm worried about inventory and merchandise and the giveaway and the rules and the emails and like people saying they got the wrong order and people wanting to cancel and, you know, like refunds and like 100 emails, and like it's just like
on top of the normal operations that
what do I even do, you know? And it's like you could be a jack of all trades, but every one of those things that you know how to do, once you get past a certain point, is just going to be half-assed. And I think that is what happened, is like it turned from, let's say, my 70% of capability and effort over here at the shop to now less than 50% at both, you know? Because obviously I have a family, I have a personal life, like all that other type of stuff that needs maintained too. And so I think that was just a lot. And then it just got, you know, the builds got behind, the parts got behind, you know, communication got behind. And then I went to SEMA, and then Blake, he was basically shipping and handling a lot of like the fulfillment side of stuff. we had an issue with, we had
An
a free gift app that essentially oversold these lanyards. Like, so it was like if you bought this certain thing that you were going to be able to get a lanyard and then get a beanie and then get a wallet if you spent over this certain amount. And then people figured out like this hack where they could figure out like if somebody just ordered like 10 free wallets and didn't buy anything, you know, like,
Yeah.
So that was a mess. People got lanyards when we only had,
Yeah, the inventory, it
only-
didn't account for inventory.
we
It was
only
just
had
selling.
30 of this one lanyard, but then it oversold and essentially gave like 200 people this free lanyard that we did not have in stock that takes like 3 to 6 weeks to get back in stock. So
yeah.
like, you know, basically Blake went to fulfill all these orders. I was off at SEMA. Like I decided that last minute, you know, again, communication and a mess because it was like, oh, we don't have anything to do this week. I'm going to go to SEMA, you know? And then all of a sudden like Blake's like, oh, you're at SEMA, you know? And then, so he decided that he didn't want to work here anymore at that point.
There's a lot going on. And then now on top of all of that, we're in this limbo stage as to what do we do next, being that the lease at the shop here is up in 20 days or, you know.
Less than 20 days.
Less
Yeah,
than 20
we
days,
have about 2 weeks left of the lease at this shop.
Yeah.
Technically, the other shop that we're looking at is like the current tenant is month to month. So like they could be there,
It's up in the air when they're
like
leaving.
supposedly they're
Yeah.
leaving at the end of the year and the January 1st they're out. But
We
who
don't know.
knows?
So
And
we don't
then-
know. We can't even plan right now. Like we're just spread so thin, and we're trying to figure out the best plan to move forward and how to execute it in the most manageable way that makes sense for everything.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just a lot. Like I'm overwhelmed.
yeah.
Like I'm overwhelmed, and then that just leads to everything else lacking. And as you guys can see in the videos, like I know, I know how the videos look. I know how the projects look. We're trying. So I think the only thing that I could pretty much say is that stick with me. If you guys have been here for a while, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the VIP members that are basically entered in to win 1 of 10 project cars. That has been a huge savior as far as just having that monthly revenue. Because as you could assume, like with a channel that gets almost 600,000 subscribers and gets 20,000 views per video, like that doesn't really cover the expenses.
At all, yeah.
And so yeah, I mean there's been conversations of like Sean doing his own thing and like me just doing it like all by myself again, and like I mean that's been an option. We've talked about that multiple times because I don't want to hold him back, but also I need somebody like here with me if like we're ready to scale, you know, this stuff. And so Jamie has been taking over the merchandise and, you know, the fulfillment and like the VIP program and everything. So she's been doing an awesome job with that. Basically took care of, you know, 90% of the emails and figured out all of the issues with the customers and, you know, people that got sent the wrong products or, you know, something got damaged. She's been rock star doing that. And I think that honestly, like our relationship is better because of that. She sees what's going on in the business, you know, and like now she understands why maybe when I'm at home, like I'm still freaking turned on, like trying to focus on this and trying to put out this fire over there. There's just so much, like it's a big deal. You know, the Telluride was a huge lesson, you know, of not to stray away from the brand and the type of cars that we build or give away or do any of that other stuff. You know, I've learned a lot. I think Ty learned a lot. I learned a lot about the situation and like setting expectations. And I think as an entrepreneur or, you know, a YouTube entrepreneur, like working with your friends, and it just gets really, really complicated, especially if you don't set those expectations from the beginning. And I think that is what led to a lot of the issues, you know, with Ty and Blake and all that other stuff. Is it was a mess. Like it just was, you know.
And now we're here because of essentially that, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
And so Sean's here. He said he's not going anywhere, you know, as long as I don't tell him to go anywhere. And, you know, the plan is basically just to take, you know, the big kick in the ass that I just got over the past couple months.
Use it as a lesson and
just move forward. You know, I mean, I think I've definitely learned a lot. Hope that you guys are ready for some Florida content because we're going to go down there. We're going to drive the Corvette. We're going to bring it back here. Not like I need any more cars here. But again, one of the big reasons for this VIP giveaway and all that other stuff is I think we're like at 420 members or something like that. So the odds of you guys actually winning one of these cars is actually pretty good. The whole purpose of that, and I wish it was almost, we could have done it like a month sooner to like did the giveaway in December.
Yeah.
So that way we could have used December as like the full shop cleanup. So basically January is going to be a huge either cleaning up this, moving out of this, moving into another shop, and then obviously the big sale on the 15th. And basically just try to declutter, clean out all the stuff. There's literally 29 engines
just around the shop.
in the shop that aren't in cars. 29. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
doors, fenders, bumpers,
just
like
body panel,
insane
interiors.
amount of stuff just sitting here, and it clouds my brain. It looks like crap in the videos, and I think like as much as it sucks to downsize into a smaller space, I think it'll give us the ability to be more focused, and then with the help of you guys selling you some of these parts and some of these engines and these cars will really give us the chance to actually just kind of, you know, bring it back down to basics, be a little bit smaller, be more focused.
Yeah, we're just spread so thin, because obviously, like now, as he just explained, his day-to-day operations are worrying about everything from the business aspect and emails and stuff like that, orders and fulfillment. You know, I'm just one guy out here basically in the shop, and you know, we can only do so much with that. So,
but then also that stuff needs filmed.
Yeah.
It needs filmed, it needs edited. So that is why I've brought on Charles recently. So he's basically coming down, and he's like full-time freelance videographer, but during the winter, obviously there's not that many photo shoots, car shoots and stuff like that. So he's agreed to come down for basically 2 days a week. We try to film 1 or 2 videos, tie up the loose ends of some of the other content that I've filmed, and he's basically gonna try and edit 3 videos a week. So the editing is off of my table. So that way when I go home, at 9 o'clock or 10:30 when the kids decide to go to bed, I don't have to stay awake until 1 or 2 in the morning editing a video on top of all the other stuff. Yeah. So like it's definitely been stressful. I mean, this last 6 months has been ridiculous. About a week ago, my grandpa passed away. I mean, there's been
so many things,
so much stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to go down to Florida. I'm excited to drive. Charles is editing the videos. He's going on the trip with me. Sean is going to stay back here. He has some project cars and some trucks and some other stuff that he needs to fix and maintain. So it kind of works out for him. He's basically going to have the shop to himself to work on his own stuff. I mean, Charles is going to be in Florida filming stuff. We're going to drive that thing back here. And yeah, hopefully January we're going to sell some cars, sell some parts, figure out what we're doing. In the meantime, it might be still a little bit of a mess, but I'd appreciate it if you guys watch the videos. It's going to be less like focused on specific project cars and what we're doing on that, what we're doing day to day. So
and also too, like really quick, I think that obviously I think a lot of you guys are here because of like the cool one-off stuff that we have done in the past. Trevor's done in the past prior to me, the Super build, Evo Wagon build, like the 240 stuff, the Civic, all that cool stuff. And that's kind of what our game plan is with moving or staying here and getting cleaned up and like not scaling back, but kind of just cleaning up the environment as a whole. So we have that ability and the capability to focus on those, you know, those one-off projects, those cool, those different projects that we're able to do.
The actual cool stuff, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
not this random.
We spent a week working on a bone stock 350Z, like replacing the motor.
Yeah.
Like,
and we have the potential to do stuff like this. And the fact that we're doing that, it's you know, it's one of those things like he just said, you know, so much stuff to do, so much stuff going on that we kind of just resort back to, okay, what's simple? What can we do to get you guys some sort of content that hopefully you watch, you know? And I kind of think that's where, unfortunately, it's gotten at some points just because of the dynamics of everything and everything that has been going on. So we're, you know, the next few months, like you said, might be a little rocky and might be a little.
Well, I'm going to say the next few weeks.
Okay.
So it's going to be New Year, new MotionAutoTv.
Yeah.
I mean,
we just have the big move and stuff.
I like
first of the year is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So as far as car content goes, like specific, you know, projects that we're going to stay focused on and follow through with and finish it. You know, we're focusing on the shop right now, what we're doing, moving out of here, moving into somewhere else, cleaning this up, whatever that may look like. And then once that is done and once we've kind of basically reestablished ourselves, you know, in the new year, now it's full steam ahead with focusing on builds, you know? That's kind of
new year, new me, new MotionAutoTv.
Yep.
No, I mean, I know that we're capable of so much more, you know,
exactly.
And I think that you guys know that too. And obviously that's why the videos have been declined. I think I was really rewarded in 2017 when I was building the Supra because there wasn't a lot of that content on the internet
at that point.
And right now it is ridiculous the level of builds and the quality of builds that other people are putting out. I'm not one of 10 people putting out automotive content anymore. I'm one of like 100 solid, really good creators that have their shit together, you know, like that went through these growing pains and
so
maybe did it
up the bar now.
Maybe did it at a better time, or it was less of a mess, or maybe they're going through the same thing and it's a video and they're just hiding it just like me, you know, like I don't know, like it's just one of those things. Like I'm definitely thankful to be in this position. I'm at that like scared stage of like I see it and I'm like, man, is this sustainable like at this level? Basically what it comes down to is we just got to change. So I appreciate some of you guys' input. I'd essentially like this comment section almost to be about like what brought you guys to MotionAutoTv, what made you subscribe,
What you want to see moving forward.
and then again, what you want to see moving forward, what you think is gonna help. I think I know what's gonna help is just clearing out the projects and just getting laser focused on projects.
And starting builds and then executing and finishing those builds without starting something and putting it away and starting something else. We're gonna start something, we're gonna finish it. That's just And I'll step up and do what I can to obviously make sure that takes place too.
Yeah.
Kind of keep Trevi in line over here a little bit.
Well, I mean, honestly, I need it. Like, I almost wish that I had somebody just to handle the business so that I could come out here and film and work on the cars myself and do all that other stuff. And just so happens that, like, I'm not in the position. I haven't found the right person to do that. And that's obviously, I don't know. It's just really complicated. There's a lot that goes into...
We have the ability to do it together. We just have to start fresh, clean slate.
There's just a lot that goes into this whole thing, and even like some sponsor stuff. Like, I've had people like reach out for like sponsorship, or they want to pay to like promote their products in like the videos, and I'm at that point where I don't even want to like take those type of deals, even though the money would be nice, because I'm not proud of where the channel's at.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to...
We can do and be so much better than where we're at right
now. And I'm stoked to go down to Florida. Everybody down there, we're going to be making some rad content. So I'm going to try to do some daily style videos, let Charles edit the videos, which is going to be really nice. I'll be able to enjoy myself and drive, which is what I really do like doing. The 350Z, that was for me. Like, really, that was for me to get out on the track and actually just drive and focus, because like, when you're driving on the racetrack, like, you're not really thinking about all the bills you got or any of like the other life stuff.
Reality,
like, you're literally just like driving and
that's it,
and focusing that time, even though it's a challenge, or like riding your dirt bike or doing something like that. So I think that's another thing that I need to be better at, is like actually taking some time for myself and not getting so burnt out with the projects and stuff and just the overwhelming, because it's like, even if I'm sitting there doing nothing, there's like this, I feel like there's this like weight of just like
everything around you.
Everything.
That's what we're trying to declutter.
I feel like
everything.
At this point, it's like 100%, like, it's my fault. Like, if anything fails, it is. It's my fault. It's my decision. I let it get to that point, like, there's, I don't know. It's, this is what this channel is about. It's not about making this like a TV show or whatever. I mean, maybe that's what it needs to be, but like, like, I'm a real dude that has, a real family and real friendships and real problems and cars that break or fix or get scratches or, whatever on them. Like, we got stuff to do, and I hope that at the end of the day that you guys get some value out of these videos and, make your day hopefully more enjoyable, or inspire you guys to build project cars or go to the track or do something for yourself, so that way you could be present in, the rest of, your life and be essentially fulfilled, because I think that if you're not doing, it doesn't matter how much money you're making, if you're not enjoying it, or at least happy with where you're currently at, but wanting more, but not appreciate, you have to appreciate where you're at
and where you came from,
but want more. Know you're capable of more and put in the work to get there. And I think that, I don't know, I think, there was a time where like I had a lot of really early success, and then I just started coasting.
Yeah.
It was like I let off the gas, like you're not going to win the race at 50% throttle or 70% throttle, because even if you're in a 700 horsepower Corvette, some guy in a Miata, he's doing 100% throttle the whole freaking time. So like, you looking at him like he's a pipsqueak, little Miata, okay, he was 100% the whole throttle, you were 70, how long is it going to take till he passes you? And we're back on the gas, we're trying to figure it out. The effort's in a little bit different places, but it's coming back together. Appreciate you guys watching this little Evo side chat. I don't know if you could consider it a fireside chat. It does spit fire out of the wastegate, and we're close to the wastegate.
And look at it, that thing is fire.
That thing's pretty fire. So, see you guys in Florida.
Oh, yep.